Charizard returning to the TCG. Now I know that for quite a lot of you people that's going to sound like music to your ears because Charizard, as we know ever since the release in the late 90s, has been one of, if not the fan favorite Pokemon of the community. So I just want to start by saying thank you to PokeBeach, as per usual, a fantastic resource for information relating to the TCG. Now, as you'll see here, I have an article up that came out yesterday that states that in Japan, they've filed a trademark for the name Inferno X. Now, this is quite ambiguous, of course, and it's quite hard to get links from this bit of information, but there are a few details that we can piece together that, in my opinion, basically hints towards the fact that Charizard will be returning in some aspect. So Inferno X, well, let's break that down. Inferno, of course, relates to some kind of fire sort of theme, and X, of course, is just a letter, but when you go into it a bit deeper, we know that there's also Mega Evolution Pokemon returning later on this year. We've had that leak for a while now. Again, thanks to PokeBeach that leaked that information a few weeks ago. So when you look at Inferno and you look at one of the Mega Pokemon, one of the poster boys of the entire franchise, which is Charizard, of course, a fire type, so relating to that Inferno word. And also, one of the versions of Mega Charizard is the X. As you can see, here's a card here from Flash Fire, which is a version of Mega Charizard, specifically the X version. If you don't know what Charizard looks like, as you can't really see from the card here, this is the Mega Charizard X here. So, a fire type Pokemon, and quite a fan favorite one of that being Charizard, and of course it's the X version. So Inferno X, Charizard X, you can see the link that I'm getting at here. And as we know, the Pokemon Company are not stupid, right? They know what the fans love, they know which Pokemon go down well, and therefore that's why they release certain sets structured around certain Pokemon. And it's been quite a while now since we've had Charizard as part of a mainline set. So as we see here, we've got the list of Charizard cards released in chronological order. So I've gone to the bottom, therefore at the most recently released cards. And as you'll see, we've got a few promos at the bottom. Then we go back and you see Paldean and Fates. Now Paldean and Fates was not a mainline set. And then before that, you got 151. Again, not a mainline set. As we can see, the list of TCG expansions here on Bulbapedia. Paldean Fates here was a special expansion. And then a couple sets prior, 151, again, a special expansion. So therefore, you go back prior to 151, and the last time we had a Charizard card as the mainline card in a mainline TCG expansion was Obsidian Flames. As you see here, as you all know, this is a main series expansion. Obsidian Flames was a mainline set, and that was the last time we got a Charizard card as a chase in a mainline set. So with Obsidian Flames being released in August 2023, it's coming up to 2 years now since Charizard led the line and was the main chase card of a mainline TCG set. As I alluded to before, the Pokemon Company are not stupid. They know what the fans love, they know what the fan favorite Pokemon are. I'd say your top three are your sort of Pikachu, you got your Eevee and Eeveelutions, and also Charizard. So back in November, when we had the release of Surging Sparks, we had the Pikachu themed set. Then we move into the new year and we've got Eevee and Eeveelutions, and that's kind of the in thing right now. And as we know, I don't think they really need to create much hype for 2026, with it being the release of the 10th generation and also the 30th anniversary. So let's break it down. Latter part of 2024, we've got Pikachu themed set with Surging Sparks. Cool, people love Pikachu. Then we move into 2025, we've got Eevee and Eeveelutions. Cool, people love Eevee and Eeveelutions. Then we move on to the Team Rocket theme stuff, very nostalgic, really cool, people love that. Then after that, we've already had the leaks of that black and white theme set coming out a few months later after Team Rocket. Then they've got a gap to fill, right? Then what do? They've got a gap between sort of the summertime in the Northern Hemisphere and the beginning of 2026, when, as I said, we get the 10th generation and also the 30th anniversary. What do? We've had Pikachu, even Eeveelutions, Team Rocket stuff. What do? Charizard. Of course it's Charizard. As I said, we haven't had Charizard for a long time now, and it's a fan favorite Pokemon. It has been since Generation 1 back in the late 90s. People love Charizard. Charizard sells, but providing they do it well. So let's move on to that. I just want to quickly say hello and welcome to all of the new members on the channel. It's a pleasure to see so many new faces here every single day. Thank you very much for subscribing and watching my videos. If you are new here and you're not yet subscribed, my name's Will, and I really do love to talk about the Pokemon TCG. So if you like the sound of this and a new video every other day, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, as I really would love to have you here. Now, as I alluded to before, the last mainline TCG set that featured a Charizard card was Obsidian Flames. Now, Obsidian Flames was executed relatively poorly, in my opinion. Now, I think a lot of you will agree, as you know, Obsidian Flames really wasn't the best set in Scarlet and Violet, one of the worst ones in the entire era, although I do think it's slightly underrated due to the fact there's some brilliant illustration rare cards in that set. The Cleffa, the Larvitar, the Gloom, the Ninetales, the Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Caesar, Houndour. There's a lot of really cool illustration rare cards in that set, but what's going to really drive a set usually will be the SIR cards. They're the chase cards, and you'd expect a set with an SIR Charizard card to really push a set, a bit like 151 for example, but unfortunately Obsidian Flames wasn't the case, right? Charizard EX here, as we can see, $56. Now, if you ask someone, what do you think a Charizard SIR card is going for? The chase card of a set, a Charizard card, an SIR. You'd think they'd say a decent amount, right? Not only $50. It's one of the cheapest SIR cards from the entire era. And I get it, it's not the best Charizard card, right? It's not ugly, it's not terrible, but there's a lot better illustrations out there, right? I think they could have done a lot better with this set. And the point being, I do think the Pokémon company will be they'll have a lot of desire within them to release a really good set that the fans will really like, due to the fact it includes a really cool looking Charizard chase card. Now, I don't want to completely disregard 151 and Paldean Fates just because they're specialty expansions. I do want to sort of touch on the point that Charizard in this era alone has had 3 SIR cards now when you take into account all types of expansions, and I do think that's a lot for one Pokemon to have 3 SIR cards in only one single era. That's a lot of SIR cards. Point being, I'm not sure if we need another Charizard SIR card. Of course, there's nothing confirmed. We don't know whether we will or not, but there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle there. When you join them together, looks like we really could be seeing that. Now, I personally don't think it's needed. I like Charizard. I'm not the biggest fan, just like a lot of other people are. I do like Charizard. I think it's cool, but I'd question whether or not it's needed. And I do think there's potential repercussions there that could have negative consequences on the TCG. What I'm referring to there is that I do think with scalpers and people that are not interested in Pokemon, if soon as they see, Charizard set, Charizard's headlining a set, we know people love Charizard, let's scalp that set up. So I do think it's kind of, I think there could be a case of the Pokemon company, you know what, the people are not very happy with the situation of the Pokemon TCG right now. Let's release a Charizard theme set because everyone loves Charizard, and I know the Pokemon company do too. It makes sense from that point of view. But when you look at how it could be perceived from sort of the scalper point of view and the potential repercussions it could have on the market and on the TCG, I don't know. I'm not too sure whether it's the greatest idea, and I'm not too sure, as I said before, based on the fact Charizard already has 3 SIR cards in this era alone, whether or not it's needed. But of course, we're only spitballing. We're only kind of throwing ideas together. We're kind of grabbing random pieces of the jigsaw, trying to put them together and seeing what the image is. But only time will tell. Only once we go on a few more months and we see some leaks, etc., we'll know exactly what route or what path the Pokemon company are going down. Anyway, guys, that does conclude things for today. So let me know down below whether you guys think Charizard needs to return, if you would welcome it returning because you're a fan of Charizard, what your general opinion is on the news we have and on this potential situation. Anyway, guys, if you are still watching, thank you so much for doing so. Thank you so much for still being here. I really do greatly appreciate your support. And of course, if you have enjoyed the video, please don't hesitate to leave a like, as it really does help me out. If you fancy watching a couple other videos of mine, you can watch this one right here where I talk about Journey Together and why I think it's a fantastic release for various reasons, or this video right here where I talk about why Japanese cards are a fantastic alternative. Anyway, that has been everything for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Will, I've been PokeCharla, and I'll catch you in the next one.